We actually have it with the external drive. So we can rebuild it. Replace the house, right, the house. So they're significant energy rights. Our system. Internal driver, we should actually just drive the light out. So yes, but we do it differently.
As far as the burden, well, it can be through customers. Yeah, whenever you are really slightly. All right. So everybody got food? Working on it? All right. Well, I think we're going to get started for the second time here. Has anybody in the room participated in the Smart Saver program? Used it at all to this point? A couple of people. Okay, good. Well, to start off, we're just going to talk about the program a little bit, give a little overview and background so everybody has a little bit of a base of what we're talking about when we actually get into the incentive measures. Then we're going to talk about the technology groups that are incentivized, so what Duke's willing to give money for to their customers to upgrade. And then finally, we're going to talk about the new measures for this year. There's quite a few new things, and hopefully we'll have enough time for questions. I'm not like a normal presenter, though. If you guys have questions while we're going through this, feel free to interrupt and ask at any point. I find that if you don't do that, lots of times you predict questions by the end of the program. So the Smart Saver program is an energy efficiency program that was developed to encourage Duke customers to invest in energy savings. So the money for that program, it comes from ratepayer investments, similar to new generation plants and transmission lines. So, you're probably asking yourself, why would Duke want to give money to me as a customer to save energy when they're in the business of selling kilowatts to make money? Well, the answer is to build generation for those kilowatts that you're using, it costs significantly more than to save money through energy savings. So, right here you can see if you build generation plant to build a kilowatt hour, it's going to cost about $3,500. If you spend those monies to save energy through programs like the Smart Saver program, you can do that through about $15 as opposed to $3,500. So it's significantly less expensive to save energy than to build generation plants. The Smart Saver program, like I said, is an incentive program. Duke gives it to the customers to incentivize the upgrades and energy efficient equipment. This is just what's been paid out year to date, so you know the program's legit. In 2011, $15 million. Up to last year, we actually paid out close to $24 million. So we do have targets, but once that target's reached, the money doesn't just cut off, so it keeps coming as long as there's applications coming in the door. So there's money's available for you guys and your customers, and we hope after this you'll be able to take advantage of them. So funding of the Smart Saver program, where does that money come from? All Duke Energy customers, including yourselves as residential customers, if you pay a Duke bill, pay into a small energy efficiency rider. It's fractions of a cent. You would not even notice it if you weren't using tons and tons of energy, like the Michelins, the BMWs, the larger manufacturers. They can start to see that rider a little bit on their bill. But all that money is put into a pot, and then that money is used to pay out these incentives that we're going to talk about. One caveat to that is to be able to take part in the Smart Saver program, you have to be opted in to paying that energy efficiency rider. There's a couple customers that can opt out. So if you get to a situation where you're working with a client and they're larger, industrial customers have the opportunity to opt out. And also customers using over 1 million kilowatt hours a year can opt out. So we're talking large energy users. So the technology groups that Duke's incentivizing, and I broke it down. This is not actually how they break it down, but I broke it down this way because this is how it's on the applications. So there's a lighting application, food service equipment, HVAC, motors, pumps, and VFDs, chillers, process equipment, and then a brand new technology that we're going to be incentivizing this year is IT stuff, so computers and servers and things of that nature. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. There are two paths to getting these incentives. We're mainly going to focus on the prescriptive today. The way it works is you install something that's on the list, and you can submit an application to Duke to get the incentive money up to 90 days after the application is submitted. It's for a one-for-one change-out, so if you change one light fixture, go back in with one LED fixture, you get a certain amount of money for that application. The applications must include it must be complete. You'd be surprised how many we don't get in. Sounds like the simplest thing, but really seems to not be. An invoice with materials and labor separated. The tax ID number has to be on the application, and brand new, starting kind of midway through last year, is we're requiring a W-9 from the customer. So from the end user, whoever's getting the product, we need their W-9. The custom application is a little bit different. We offer it so that things that aren't on that prescriptive list, it's not just spelled out. If they save energy, they still could be eligible for incentive money. It's a little bit different in the fact that custom application needs to be submitted to Duke before any of the materials are bought, before anything's installed, before you start the project really. You have to send in an application and get an okay and an offer letter from Duke. And at that point, you'd go ahead with the project just like normal. At the project's completion, Duke would then pay the incentive amount that was agreed upon in the beginning.
Is this for new stuff from scratch or just replacing what's there?
So it's for both, actually. So it can work for replacement, and that's typically what we see is retrofits. But if you're doing new construction, there is a path to do that as well. Typically, that's going to be a custom application, but you would spec out what you would have used, the less efficient equipment, and then compare it to what you're going with that's more efficient, and that's how the incentive's based on new construction. Well, like I said, the application has to be done up front. There's two parts. There's one part that's customer information, a little questionnaire about the project, and then the second part really gets into the materials that are being used and the materials that are getting replaced. With the custom, you have to turn in spec sheets or cut sheets for the products you're installing. And again, you have to have that tax ID number and a W-9 for your end user. So in 2013, there were 270 prescriptive measures. I said we were going to talk about those the most. 2014, now we have 340. So that's about a 25% increase. Those are based on things we're seeing come in the door, and then new technologies that are energy savers that Duke would like to see implemented more. So then we're getting the new measures. That should be 2014. I apologize for that. Lighting is kind of the biggest one. That's where most of the changes have come, and they mostly came in the form of LEDs in interior and exterior. The changes usually for existing products come from things that we see coming in as custom on a repetitive basis. So we're filling out custom applications and paying out incentives on LEDs a lot. You guys are seeing it out in the field as much, but that's why they're on the prescriptive now. So this is for troffers, 1x4s replacing a T12 or T8, 4-foot 1 lamp, 4-foot 2 lamp, all the way up to 2-foot 4 lamps. It's $40 per fixture. Replace an interior T12s, T8s with LEDs, $40 per fixture. So if you're putting LEDs on the interior or using LEDs for the program at all, they do have to be DLC qualified products. DLC is the Design Light Consortium. They're a third-party verification group that really certifies the efficiency of the products. Sylvania, most of you guys' products are DLC, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So they would qualify for the program, but that is something that we have to verify and will be checked once an application comes in. The bullet points there are actually DLC classification. We've been getting this question a lot, like, Are you guys familiar with the light tubes that are kind of replacements for existing fixtures, LEDs? Those are called linear replacement lamps, according to the DLC category. So they will not qualify for prescriptive. The prescriptive incentives are really for a fixture replacement. That's what they're looking for there. There is a potential for the linear replacement lamps, those tubes, to qualify under the custom application, but it will be less of a incentive amount than on the prescriptive application for a replacement fixture. Sure.
Now, you had labor and material on the previous slide.
Yep.
If the labor is done by in-house personnel, does that still qualify?
It does.
And then
You
how
can
you
self-install. Absolutely. So if your maintenance department puts in the materials, then you would turn in a invoice that just had your materials on it. And maybe an explanation that was self-installed. And you still qualify for the incentives. And that's a good point to make. With the prescriptive incentives, they pay up to 50% of the materials cost for the project. So let's just say, just for an example, you put in a fixture that cost $100. The incentive was for $60. You would only get $50 back in that case. Does that make sense? So LED high bay and low bay applications, this is new. All interior LEDs on the applications are new for 2014. This is a pretty good one though. So LED high bay replacing an HID fixture up to 400 watts is $170 per fixture. Same situation, but a 400 watt or greater HID fixture, you get $225 per fixture. And then the low bays on the bottom, 176 to 250 watt HID replacement is $90 per fixture, and $80 for 175 watt or less. Energy Star lamps, these are LED products as well. Portable task lighting, so like a desk lamp that's LED. They're expanding incentive on that up to $25 per lamp. LED track lighting. This is meant to be a fixture. So typically track lights have attachments that go on them. That whole fixture, when you buy it, the track and the pieces that go into it, I don't know, they're the attachments. Help me out. The heads.
Track heads.
Thank you. They're $35 per fixture. LED display case lighting, so we're talking jewelry stores here and stuff of that nature, where LEDs can go in there and light your goods, $10 per fixture. And shelf-mounted task light, so you got a cubicle with a desk. The task light up underneath there is $10 per fixture if you install it.
Back to the track lights.
Yep.
Is that, if you got an 8-foot piece of track and you've got 10 heads or 8 heads on there, is that $35 for every head, or is that for the whole?
For the
whole
track.
fixture?
Yeah, you got it. Good question.
Quick question about the display cases.
Sure.
Would that be included in like LED in-cabinet lights and under-cabinet lights? Situation?
I don't think so, but I can get clarification on that unless, Carrie, you know the answer off the top of your head.
I'm not sure what check on that.
Yeah, I don't think so, though.
Okay.
I think they're
And this is
intended
all
like-
for commercial industrial, not residential, right?
correct. Yeah,
So it
this,
wouldn't qualify for any residential.
that's exactly right. That wouldn't qualify for residential. It's all commercial that we're talking about at this point. So sensors, on the application in the past, we've had motion sensors that were good for $20 or $40. Now we've added daylight sensors, so switch mounted to the fixture or remote mounted for $20 a piece. One caveat to that is if you do use motion sensors, you can't use a daylight sensor in the same application and get credit for both. So you can only get credit for one. LEDs again, this is exterior lighting. Bollards are $40 a fixture. Canopy lighting, which we have some up here if I'm not mistaken, is up to $80 per fixture, on up to $170 depending on the wattage of the HID you're replacing.
Similar canopy. Talking about.
So that's a pretty good one. They've added exterior floodlights. That's something we're seeing on the custom list for $20 per fixture. and a floodlight for 100 watt or greater is $50 per fixture. And then exterior LED motion sensors, so that's cut off when people aren't around your building, $27 per control. So this is a little more for the lighting. Ceramic metal halides replacing incandescent or halogen is $30 per. 25 watt or less ceramic metal halides replacing a 70 watt or greater incandescent is $10 per. A few of the things that we've taken off, if you're familiar with what was on there in the past, is the T12 8-footers. If they're T12 8-foot regular bulbs, they're no longer on the prescriptive application. There still are incentives for the 8-foot T12 high output bulbs, just not the regular T12. And we also removed the plug load occupancy sensors. Also, there's some changes to incentive amounts that are on the application currently. For the T8s, the 4-foot 3 lamp up to the 4-foot 8 lamps, they went up, pretty much scaled $40 to $70. And the 2 fixture T8s replacing the HIDs went up from $120 to $140. Fluorescent high bays, the T5 high outputs replacing the HIDs at various wattages also went up from $40 to $80 depending on the wattage of the HID. Outdoor lighting, exterior LEDs replacing HIDs, so we're talking like pole lights and parking lots, things of that nature. They went up as well from $50 to $200 based again on the wattage. The one thing that went down on the lighting is parking garage LED lights is traditionally one of our better incentives, and it still is, but it did go down a bit based on the wattage again from $75 to $300. It's all any questions about lighting? I figured that'd be most of you guys' questions. After the program today, I do want to add this. I'm going to get you guys' email addresses in cooperation with Craig, and make sure you guys get a copy of the comprehensive list of incentives. So this is just what's new for 2014. There's stuff on there that we aren't talking about today that you can potentially take advantage of too. It's T8s, some T5 high outputs, or high bays, excuse me, things of that nature.
The T5 retro kits, is that what you explained earlier, is no longer incentivized?
The T5 retrofit kit?
Yeah, where you're not changing the fixture, you're just putting the cartridge in?
So we never incentivized those actually. There was a small time period where T5s were allowed. The only application where they're still allowed is in that high bay setting. So if you put in T5s and they're in a high bay application, then there's an incentive for them. Otherwise, T5s aren't incentivized. That's a good question, though.
I didn't understand the point you made about there's an incentive payment.
Yep.
But you said something about paying half the cost. I didn't understand that cost versus that.
So this is the incentive amount. So let's just say we're putting in T5 2-lamp high bays and replacing 150 watt HID. So it's available for $40, up to $40. But that's based on half the cost of the equipment you installed. So if your T5 that you're putting in there, your lamp, your fixture, cost $80, then you're going to get that full 40 back. If it costs $70, you're going to get a little bit less than $40. Does that make sense?
Oh, as long as the incentive's not over half the cost. Is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say these LEDs, these high bay LEDs, that's not half the cost.
Absolutely.
High bay LEDs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So food service, a few changes to it for 2014. They're adding a lot of Energy Star products, vending machines for $80, automatic door closers like in freezers and coolers and grocery stores and convenience stores, $40 for those. Energy Star dishwashers for high and low temperature. They vary there, but some good incentives for those. These are incentive amounts that actually change for existing incentives. Anti-sweat coolers are up to $60. Energy Star fryer is now $200. Steam cookers $1,200. Commercial convection ovens $300. Griddles $300, and a commercial combination oven is $1,912. If I'm not mistaken, that might be our highest incentive. Energy Star food holding cabinets, half size, insulated, up to $300. Energy Star, same thing, 3/4 size, it's $400, and full insulated cabinet, $500. Solid door and glass door reach-in freezers and refrigerators increased by $25. Energy Star ice machines dropped. They were $150 down to $100. For 1,000 pounds per day, it was $500. It's now $200. So they went down quite a bit. So HVAC, these are again changes to it. There's other applications to HVAC that are on there. And like I said, I'll get you guys a comprehensive list of that stuff after the presentation today. But this is brand new, cool roofs. If you're thinking about changing the roof on your facility and you go with a cool roof certified product, do pay an incentive of 10 cents per square foot of your roof space. It does have to be Cool Roof Rating Council certified. I think most of the Cool Roof products are, but that is a caveat to that. Demand controlled ventilation is new, $10 cents per square foot as well for the interior space that's used in. Ductless mini splits for AC only, brand new as well, $140 a ton. Ductless mini splits and heat pumps are $240 a ton. Hot water heater, I guess water heater, it's not a hot water heater, it heats the water. Pipe insulation, the water heater has to be electric to qualify, but it's good for $1 a foot for insulation. Faucet aerators, don't ask me why that stuff's on HVAC, that's where they put it. But 0.5 gallons per minute, $5 per. Low flow shower heads, $12.50 per. Remove measures from HVAC, the only thing they removed was the heat pump water heater. So they're no longer incentivized on the prescriptive application. Process equipment, not a lot of new stuff here, but there are VSD air compressors for $50 per horsepower. Has to be a new compressor, and it also, you have to remove the existing equipment that you're replacing for that. You can't keep it back up. New measures chillers, if you do an air-cooled or water-cooled chill reset, it's $1.50 per ton. And then changes to the HVAC is process equipment, really. The pellet dryer installation was lowered incrementally based on the inches. And then engineered nozzles went up from $20 to $40. The IT, the last thing we got today is the very new, and it covers everything from computers to servers to plug loads. But if you're replacing computers in your office or in your facility, $10 per computer for an Energy Star desktop. Laptops are considered desktop as long as they're Energy Star. Computer servers are also available for incentive amount. Energy Star 2.0 for computer server, $15 per server. Or if it meets Energy Star 6.0 small scale server, you get $15 as well. And that's what the application looks like. It's Allstate's PC power management system. So, you know, if you're in a large office environment, power management system you could remotely wire in at night, shut down the computers so they're not using any energy. That's the type of thing it's talking about here. And that's $6 per desktop system that control system works with.
What happens if you have built-in timers to do that automatically? Does that still qualify?
That's a good question. I don't know. It has to be brand name software, so I would say probably not. But I can look into that, and I will do so. again, the application is what it looks like there. Number of PCs, number of monitors. Controlled plug strips. So this is a little different than your everyday, surge protector. This is one where you've got one live load that stays on all the time. You've got 4 that you plug in that are actually controlled, more expensive, but they're available for $4 per plug strip. And then server virtualization. So going to a cloud. You've got an iPhone, you kind of know about the cloud, right? If you put your servers on a cloud-based system, for every 10 servers you remove in a system, $2,000 is available as an incentive. And there's those applications. So this is IT, VFD chilled water for data centers. You can also find the same application on the HVAC application, or excuse me, the VFD application. But based on the horsepower, it's from $500 up to $3,000. And for computer room AC fans, VFDs, based on the horsepower again, $200 up to $1,500. And that's pretty much it for the new measures. I hope that kind of gives you an overview of the type of stuff that Duke is incentivizing. Like I said, I'd be more than happy to give you guys all a copy of the comprehensive list so you can see everything that's available. But there's money out there, and we hope you guys will take advantage of it if the situation arises. And I'm going to put a stack of cards over here. If you come up to a situation or a project and you have questions, feel free to call me. That's what I'm here for. Help you guys with applications, answer questions.
Yeah, this is kind of a dumb question. You have to be a Duke customer. You have to be billed by Duke per se.
That's not a dumb question. We get that a lot. You do have to be a Duke customer. You have to hold a Duke account number and pay a Duke bill. So if a co-op buys power from Duke Energy, they're not eligible. They have to pay their bill directly to Duke. This is a very good question. Anybody else?
Scott mentioned something about saving money. Anthony Smith, are you here? You want to speak about what you've done recently at your facility?
Well, twice we've taken advantage of this program. The first time we retrofitted 500 fixtures, T12 fixtures, and it's like a $24,000 project. After we sent the completion form and a copy of the invoice to them, within a week I had a check for $8,600. And another time we replaced a 20 horsepower VFD on an air handler, and that was $2,000 right there. I was real happy with the response. 1 week we had a rebate.
Sure, that's great. Thanks for that. And that's what, it's good to have people in the room tell their success stories with it, because, at first the applications, I'll be honest, seem a little cumbersome. But like I said, I'm here to help. There's other people that can help. And we want you guys to take advantage of it. If you're paying into the funds for it, so you may as well take advantage of the incentive money as well.
I'm going to bring Scott up for just a few minutes. We've got a couple things to add and maybe some questions about applications for lighting.
Just a couple things. I think I've presented to a lot of y'all on products, but just a couple things he didn't cover that I know are on there that could help you as well, because we just went for changes. Screw-in lamps,
Yep.
$10, correct? Still?
Correct. Yeah,
So,
but they're Energy Star.
Energy Star, and anything we're going to sell at Sylvania are either going to be Energy Star for screw-in products, or like he said, DLC approved for fixtures. Okay. So anything from A19, which you can see a couple different examples here, okay, to up to part 38 from R16. So anything that's going in, if you're not replacing a track head, he says $35 for an entire track head. You just want to replace the lamps in that track head. That's going to be $10 per lamp in that track head. So if you have 20 lamps in a track head, you're getting $200 right there.
Yep.
Okay. So just know that's available. And then, I don't have it out, LED retrofit kits for your 6-inch cans. Okay, paying $15 on these.
That's right.
So just know that's available. Pulling out a 6-inch trim, popping a new LED system back up in there.
Does it have to be 120?
Yes. That's 120 on most 6-inch cans. before long, I don't know what they're gonna do, but before long, on our product, we're gonna have an 8-inch and a 6-inch that can do 277. Okay, but not today. Okay.
How soon?
Hopefully by July. They keep telling me. I don't know who asked that. I don't see.
Price point, man?
A lot more than this. Don't know.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Really.
And then he talked about parking garage and canopy. This fixture can do both. Okay, so I can do this in parking garage optics or in canopy optics. Okay, and we can go anywhere from a 25, 40, 55, or 85 watt. So we can encompass. They have 4 categories of what they can replace. We can fit in all 4 of those categories. Okay. And then exterior for your wall packs. He talked about DLC. DLC will only certify wall packs that are full cutoff right now. Okay, so this is considered a full cutoff because you're throwing all your light down. And the ones that throw it out, DLC won't certify, so Duke will not pay rebate on it. This is a full cutoff wall pack. Okay, so just know that. And then exterior floods, so we can do that as well. And this isn't all my products that I have. We have plenty more, but I just, to fit into what he was talking about, I wanted to bring some. So, any questions on that? Also, I've got spec sheets on all this stuff up here if you need some spec sheets to look over the product. Anything I can do to help, I've got cards up here. Feel free to call me. So, any questions on any of that? Once I have a price, I'll let you know.
Okay, I want to thank you very much for coming today. And give you a little preview as to, we're going to continue this theme over the next 2 months in March and April, March 19th, April 16th. Scott will be back in April 16th. We're specifically working on power and energy management systems. So it's not just lighting, but Joseph will be heavily involved in this, as will Cooper Lighting. And our plan is to really help you take what you've learned from Duke Energy today and move it into application. Because the application is where it helps you to start make money on contracts and build your business. Blocks wants to become your partner in that, in every opportunity possible. The invitation will be going out toward the end of the month. There will be specific addressable lighting controls. You can see all the options and the applications that will be here. Over the course of the next 2 months, we'd really love to have you come back. Same location, we'll run through the same. We'll probably not have chicken next month, but we'll have something a little bit different. Any questions? I want to address one item that's out there, because we sent out this information to most of our customers. Blacks isn't really going anyplace as a company, but we are growing. To grow, to better serve you, to better serve the needs of our suppliers, our customers, and our supportive agents, we need to find a bigger location. So this property right now that you're sitting on is under contract. In the coming months, we hope that as it closes, this property will be built up to about 309 multifamily units. So Blacks benefits from that, because we got a bigger, better location that's going to serve you better. Now, we'll also have a downtown counter that will serve you a little bit more expeditiously at a location that's less than 5 minutes from here. We're already contracted on that and working on the build-out. As soon as that becomes live, we'll let you know. We're not going anyplace except up, right? Blake? I will tell you that when I know for certain that the person that we're purchasing the facility from has agreed to our terms. Okay? And it'll be beneficial to everybody. A lot easier to get to, a lot bigger, and more fun. And hopefully, if it all works out, this room will triple in size. Okay? Anything else you want to add, Landon? Thank you very much.
I just want to say thanks to you.
Carol, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for hosting, Craig.
Good, man.